Lee dee 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 dee. Yeah, he's flapping the wings. Yeah, he's flapping the wings.
It's the Jersey Avanzi. It's the Jersey Avon.
Yeah,
Flack.
Thank God you're not a Ravens fan.
Yeah,
Thank
they
God
got
you're
my
not a
Ravens
Ravens
fan.
fan.
I wouldn't want to be one. Not in that horrendous freaking city.
Yeah, yeah, horrendous city. Imagine talking about a city like that you've never been to, and
Yeah.
the more you
Been to the
criticize,
airport.
yeah, you've been to the airport.
I've,
But
I've, I've been I've been to the state, but I actually spend time in Baltimore now.
N only makes N puts the stereotype on Ravens fans of the way the Ravens fans act on Twitter.
Are you gonna say they're not a part of the fan base?
Well, they are, but at the same time, they're Twitter trolls.
There's some that are very, very serious. Ramey,
Yeah.
Nick Mason.
I actually follow Ramey now. I actually kind of like him.
Yeah. Yeah, now you follow Ramey. Too bad likes are still private on. Excuse me for coughing. I'm still getting over my sickness.
Yeah, he'll be coughing throughout the whole episode.
Yeah, we will be. But too bad likes are private on X now because I guarantee that like box is filled with a bunch of Ramey.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
I'll screenshots in it to you.
Yeah, there's somebody I've seen, a Ravens fan, and I'm gonna get your thoughts on this if you agree. It was one of the. It wasn't Ramey, but it was one of the Ravens Twitter fan pages. Yeah, I don't know. It might have been the Zach guy, the ZACH
the
guy.
new era,
Yeah.
Zach.
It might have been him. But there was somebody that I saw saying that Lamar Jackson is the greatest player they ever watched.
I think that was Ramey.
Was it Ramey?
I think it was Ramey. Yeah.
So that speaks to me. One, you probably just became a fan 3 years ago. 2, Z, would you agree with that? Is Lamar Jackson the greatest football player you ever watched, Z?
He's not the greatest because I put Tom Brady in that category, but he's up there. He's up there. But we're not talking about accomplishments. We're not talking about MVPs. We're talking about just strictly based on talent.
Never forget. And what year was this? I believe it was 2021, where the Ravens were playing a primetime game. I think it was Monday Night Football, and I was flying to Florida because my flights got canceled 3 times, and I had to take Frontier or Spirit, whatever it was.
Never forget that.
And I was on the phone with Z while the Ravens were playing, and this guy was saying, "Oh, just how much he's over Lamar."
Here we go.
And how over he is of him, and this guy's never going to develop, and this guy sucks. I'll never forget it.
You know what's funny is that has no sources. Me saying that I might have got a little.
I don't need sources. Z. I don't need any sources.
Well, and hold on. Why don't you brush your hair?
Yeah, brush my hair. Why don't you take off your hat and show everybody why you're a predator?
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. And the buzzed head is coming soon.
I've been hearing that for 3 years.
I can't remember what he was saying. Oh yeah. It was probably one of those nights I got a little frustrated, and I've always stuck by Lamar's side.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So and he'll say, "Oh well, he knows me." No, well, yeah. Idiot.
Yeah, you're right, Z. Yeah, you're right.
Anyways,
I have to disagree with that comment, but in terms of Lamar, in terms of Ramey or Zach, whoever it was saying Lamar was the best player they ever watched. I mean, that's just honestly sad.
Yeah, and I didn't sit here and say I agreed with it.
Yeah.
Well,
great player. I honestly have come around to him these last. Honestly, I want to say this year is the year where I've actually fully come around to him. I think he's developed. And this isn't a video about Lamar, but just since he has the jersey on, and just a little fun story.
Well, it's actually a Ray Lewis jersey.
Right, yeah. Well, it is Ray Lewis jersey, but with him having the jersey on, the Ravens flock, stuff like that, just a little fun little story. But I've come around to him. I think that he has grown a lot as a quarterback, and I respect that.
Yeah. Well, about 5 minutes in, and I haven't put a video out for almost 2 weeks now. So welcome back.
Yep.
Welcome back. Episode 65 of Who?
These guys.
Who are these guys?
Yep. Z is officially has a home again.
Yeah. Did we even talk about that the last time? I think we did. I think we kind of threw it out there that I was homeless.
Yeah.
Well, so was N. And was also here at that time. So we were both homeless.
Yes, we were. we still are owed money, by the way.
Yes, we are. And we're not gonna get into that.
And that's why that fantasy prize money is under heavily consideration.
What we're gonna get into, guys, is I haven't really done one of these yet. At least I don't think so. But we're gonna do a recap of Week 9, pretty much officially. I think officially the halfway point of the regular season. Then
Yes.
halfway point. So,
Yes.
so this is not going to be about like what our predictions are halfway through the season. We're literally specifically going to recap Week 9 because there was a lot that went on. Along with the week before. First of all, and the week before in Week 8. I think Scott Hansen was having a stroke.
He was. That was probably one of the more craziest weeks of Red Zone I can recall.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining about it. I mean,
Yeah.
I love Scott Hansen.
It was entertaining. Yeah, I think Scott does a good job. There's times he's a little forced, and I think he has to be.
What does
But
that
I think
mean?
he like where he has to force himself to have excitement or energy toward a game to keep you kind of invested.
Okay. I see what you're saying because yesterday the Saints and Panthers were playing and they
Mhm.
showed them like the whole fourth quarter. I'm like, I don't care,
Yeah. Yeah.
but Scott kept it going. So I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. Go ahead and
Yeah,
continue.
yeah. So I think he does a great job. There's times like with him being forced, like it does come off as unnatural, but I don't think that's on him. I think that he in those moments where that does happen, like he's trying to engage you the best he can, and most likely a game or drive that nobody cares about.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole lot to talk about from this week. Um, you know, we don't really need to get into the Saints and Panthers. We don't really need to get into
God,
the Commanders and Giants.
no.
But and just did kind of briefly bring up Lamar, and starting with this, Lamar now
Mhm.
has officially the most games with the perfect passer rating, if I said that right. The most games in NFL history with a perfect passer rating. And I think it's 4.
Not yet.
Um,
He's tied. Z. He's tied.
oh, he's tied. Who's he
He's
tied with?
tied. Big Ben.
He's tied with Ben. Well,
Yeah,
I like his chances
I do too.
of
Yeah,
setting that record.
he'll have another one next year. Maybe this year.
Um,
I don't know.
and we're not really gonna sit here and talk about the Ravens and Broncos game, but would you say Lamar is the MVP favorite right now?
Undoubtedly, yes. He is blowing last year out of the water. Last year's MVP race was a disaster. I don't think there was one quarterback that deserved to win that award last year. He is blowing last year Lamar Jackson out of the water. And honestly, I think this is Lamar's best year of his career, even over 2019. 2019 was incredible just because of what he did as a rusher. What I respect so much about him right now is that, yes, that's still part of his game. But when you watched him really early on his career, and even a little bit last year, but not as much. But the first 3 years of his career, that was his game. That was him. That was his game. The running back jokes, all those type of things. He wasn't developing much of a passer. A lot of people making jokes. No wide receivers want to go there. Now you
And
look
was
at
one of
Lamar.
them. And was
Yeah,
one
well,
of them. Yeah.
I was definitely a critic. I respected him. I thought he was a great teammate, a great leader, but he was not my cup of tea as a quarterback his first 3 years. Last year, a little bit more, but not quite there. This year, he's fully taking off as a rightful quarterback. Um, he has grown so much as a passer where one of my main proponents for him for quite a few years was when you're down double scores, 3 scores, and you're entering close to the fourth quarter, he wasn't going to bring him back. It wasn't going to happen. He didn't have that passing ability to do that consistently. Now he's a guy that's able to do that. He makes his wide receivers better. You look at Zay Flowers, you look at Rashad Bateman, he makes his wide receivers better. Yes, he still makes plays with his legs. He still runs, but that's not the main proponent of his game anymore. And I respect that so much. He's great over the middle. He has a good deep ball. He has grown so much this year as an overall quarterback. And I truly think that this year is going to be the best year of his career, even over 2019 for those reasons given. And with that being said, the fact that he's been able to transition into that, I truly think that his longevity is not a question anymore.
No.
And I truly think that now that gives the Ravens even more of an opportunity in coming years to really win.
Yeah,
with the fact of his development as a quarterback. So I have nothing but praise for him. I enjoy watching him. I think that he has just truly grown into a great talent. And like even over the last since he won his MVP, yeah, he was viewed as one of the better quarterbacks in the league, but it honestly wasn't really saying a whole lot because the league was so young and these quarterbacks weren't really like fully developed yet and guys were still growing other than Mahomes. So it really wasn't saying a lot. But this year I'm super impressed by him and he has grown into a guy that I said he needs to grow into, and most people would probably say so. But
absolutely.
it's truly been spectacular to see his growth as a true quarterback and not somebody who is just a great athlete.
Right. Yeah. No, I think you ended it pretty well there, pretty perfectly, because that's how everybody really viewed him his first few years. That he was
Yeah.
just a uber athletic quarterback, faster than everybody on the field.
Hmm.
Um, and there's so many guys in the NFL that can learn from him. One guy that comes to mind who right now is a joke is Anthony Richardson. Um,
Yeah.
there are so many guys that could come to mind that could develop into this. But
Mhm.
the thing is with Lamar Jackson, I think an easy way to say it is he has a consistent offensive coordinator an offensive play caller, and obviously, what can you say about Derrick Henry? Derrick Henry has helped out everything.
Mhm.
So
Right now, he's my vote to win Offensive Player of the Year.
who Derrick?
Hmm.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, the thing is with Lamar Jackson, and as obviously a biased Ravens fan, is he's not going to be talked about as an all timer until he wins a Super Bowl, and that's unfortunately the way it is. I don't want to say unfortunately because everybody wants to win.
Hmm.
But this is going to be another opportunity this year. Yeah, he's in a tight division race with the Steelers. He's got Josh Allen playing well at an MVP level. He's still got Chiefs who are undefeated. Don't disregard the Texans. It's going to be another difficult year, but this is yet again going to be another season where if Lamar does not win it this year, he's going to be critiqued heavily in the offseason.
Well, he will. Yeah, he will. And who knows? He could end up only going to one Super Bowl. Aaron
Yeah,
Rodgers only went to one Super Bowl,
yeah,
and he's won 4 MVPs. Now, of course, Rodgers is a first ballot guy, and Lamar will probably end up being in that territory when it's all said and done. Like he's even right now, I'd say he's probably on pace to be that, just given the fact of his career continuing and what he's going to do. Um, but that might be the case. He might end up winning a couple. Who knows? But I think he needs to be respected and praised on how much he's grown.
yeah.
Um, I truly don't think that. What was I going to say? Yeah, I truly don't think that I really have come around to Lamar fully until this season. Um, didn't move me much last year. I know he won MVP last year, but I just feel like the race was so bad. Um, and then 2019 was incredible, but
Hmm.
things were kind of sloppy those next 2 seasons. And I
Next
kind of
three,
viewed
next
them,
three.
yeah, like I kind of viewed them as more developmental for him with a good team around him. And now in kind of his mid 20s and doing this, like, yeah, like he's really come a long way into like a true elite quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, he really started getting doubted when back-to-back seasons he missed, gosh, I don't even know, maybe like 10 games.
Yeah, yeah,
And
those 2 years where he was
yeah.
freaking paper.
Yeah. So, um, Lamar easily the favorite right now for
Yeah,
MVP. He has 20
100%.
touchdowns to 2 interceptions, getting pretty close to 3,000 passing yards already, over 500 rushing yards. So,
Yeah,
undoubtedly the MVP halfway through the season. Josh Allen's a very close second. Um,
yeah.
and let's move on to, I think, what has to be the most disastrous team in the NFL right now. And
Yeah,
that's saying a lot because there's a lot of jokes in the league.
yeah.
Um, but this clip yesterday from Dak Prescott on the sideline.
Mhm,
I mean, I'm not taking too much from it. Him just saying we effing suck.
yeah. Which you
Um,
guys do.
yeah, no, they do.
They do.
Um, and this team is a disaster.
They are.
Um, Mike Zimmer should be fired. Mike McCarthy should be fired.
Yep.
Um,
Jerry Jones just still living in the Stone Ages.
and I mean, what's funny is we can't say Jerry Jones should be fired because he freaking owns the team.
He owns the team. Dak has a hamstring injury right now,
So
so he might
what
miss some time.
do you think this team? I'm going to throw this out there. Let me ask this question: do you think the Cowboys? And if you want to put this, I don't know how to do it at the bottom. How you did that one time where you put that one question on the bottom.
Mhm.
But do you think
Let me
the
try to find that.
Cowboys? Yeah, I don't know where it went. Anyways, but do you think the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs? Do you think the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs?
Absolutely not. Let me see. Here you go. Yeah, playoff. Are they a playoff? Come on.
Are the Cowboys a playoff?
Are they a
Yeah,
playoff?
there's Zan's proper grammar, ladies and gentlemen.
And this is a pretty answer to say, but the fact that we're talking about it, this is going to be on the ticker. So, and it will change as we talk about different things.
Yeah, just so if you guys come in or if you guys like speed ahead our video and just so you know what we're talking about on minute mark 16. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So you're saying the Cowboys are not a playoff team?
No. And going in the season, I really had a strong feeling they weren't going to be. And the reason why was because one, not everybody makes it the year after. There's always different playoff teams every year, just depending on where the teams are at. But number two, Dallas did absolutely nothing. They came in the season with the worst running group in the league. Nobody believed in Zeke. Nobody believed in Rico Dowdle. They signed Dalvin Cook, who is past his time. All they have is CeeDee Lamb. They did nothing to address the other options at wide receiver. You have Jalen Tolbert, doesn't move the needle. You have Brandon Cooks, who, wherever the hell he's been, I think he's been injured.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jake Ferguson, I think, is a decent tight end. I think he's somebody that is a productive player. But then defensively as well, you look at the defensive side of the ball, and it is really strictly the same defense pretty much. They did not go out and spend a dime, and I know that they had to have contract situations, but they did a poor job this offseason. They didn't really draft impact players right away. So I think that they've done a poor job this offseason, and it was hard for me to get behind them. And honestly, where they're at right now as a team is kind of really where I thought they would be at entering the season. They're a 500 sub below 500 team.
Yeah. I was trying to find wait, is this it right here? Okay, here it is. I can't believe the Atlanta Falcons tweeted this yesterday. Almost has 200,000 likes on it. But the Atlanta Falcons tweeted, "Tough week to be a Yankees fan," and they put a picture of the Cowboys in Falcons score. So not real fans.
No.
Hop on the bandwagon.
Yep.
Anyways.
Yep. Yeah, they definitely are the most disastrous team right now, just because of them. They're the Cowboys, and again, they had expectations this year again, so they need to really clean up some of this coaching personnel, and they're just gonna have to go out and spend some money. That's what they're gonna have to do. They're gonna have to go out and spend some money. You already gave Dak a big deal. Micah Parsons is coming up. You gave CeeDee Lamb a contract. You're just going to need to go out, reestablish your running back room. You're going to have to go out, reestablish a little bit of your defense. That was the best defense in the NFL last year, aside from the Browns, and they're not. They're not even a top 15 defense. So they're just a mess. They 100% are a mess. And there's even worse teams in the league right now, but I think in terms of a disaster and really how many things have fallen apart, yeah. And it makes me even more mad the Steelers lost to them.
Yeah. Cool. And I think I feel Ravens lost the Raiders.
It's usually one of those games.
Yeah, it is. So, let's move on to what was called the game of the week, and it was. You had two high-powered NFC offenses, and the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. The Lions were talking about how they were a dome team, and so then they go into Green Bay, which was just a miserable weather day there. absolutely
Mhm.
miserable.
Mhm.
And honestly, they just handled them. Like I mean, it wasn't even a game.
Yeah.
And like you got Jordan Love with his knee injury, and the Packers are a young team, so they could be a bit inconsistent from week to week. But notice how I'm not saying the weather was an issue, because the Green Bay plays in that for probably half the season, and the Lions play indoors,
Yeah.
and this wasn't even a game.
No.
Detroit clobbered them, which I think puts them at 7-1, if I'm not mistaken, on the season.
Mhm.
As the bottom bar says, do you think right now that they're the best team in the NFL?
I think so. I think top to bottom because they're very good on both sides of the football.
But let me ask the second question:
Mhm.
is because as a Ravens fan, I've seen this multiple times, especially in the Lamar Jackson era. Do you think they are peaking too early in the season? Because especially in football, like
Mhm.
basketball, I don't care. Basketball, we've
Mhm.
seen the Warriors win 72 games and then they go on to win the championship. That's because they have an overpowered team. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that they are a little bit too far ahead, and that eventually they're gonna hit a road where they struggle? Are you
Mhm.
nervous that it's going to be come the end of the season for them?
It could be.
Because
We've seen it.
we've seen it. We've seen it with the Ravens, we've seen it with multiple teams.
We've seen it with the Packers, with
Yeah.
Rodgers.
Yeah.
Remember when Green Bay was maybe considered the best team in the league in what, 2021,
hmm
2020,
hmm
and lost in the first round? So it's a good question. It's a fair question. That's happened before in NFL seasons. With this Lions team, they just seem so structured well, though. They seem like they're just so coached well, top to bottom. They're structured. They know what they want to do every single week. They have two very good running backs. Jared Goff doesn't turn the ball over. He's a smart quarterback and effective. I do believe that they're going to go out and get a pass rusher, and it
Yeah,
very
me
well
too.
could be Zadarius Smith from the Browns. That's the name that's going around.
Sure.
But they are just so structured well. And when maybe some past teams from past years that have fallen short, it seems like that they just weren't as coached and strapped down as the Lions are. So I feel like that the Lions really carry a lot of good discipline. There's definitely a possibility because anything can happen. But there's a possibility they could be peaking a tad early, maybe. But at the end of the day, you're playing to win the games. And so I really don't want to be somebody that believes in peaking too early just because I believe you go to win these games every week. You're supposed to win these games every week. And the fact that they're probably going to finish as the number one seed in the NFC, they're going to get a bye week. So they're going to play in the second round. And that is when you go in the playoffs, yeah, like you have a goal to be that number one seed and get home field advantage all throughout the playoffs. Now they could lose in the division round, but I feel like that's more so just because maybe some other teams are getting better at the end of the year rather than, the Lions peaking too early. Now they could struggle, drop maybe a couple games or so like that. But I don't know. This team just seems different, especially from last year. This team, like, I feel like this team last year wouldn't lose the Niners game.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
just
I
seem
agree.
they seem more organized and disciplined and strong-headed, and the fact that they were able to get that experience last year bodes them really well, and I'm happy for them. I'm rooting for them, but I'm gonna say no, they're not peaking too early. I think it's a good question. It's a fair question. We've seen it before, but I just feel like this Lions team is coached differently than other teams of the past where we've seen that. So, especially if they get that number one seed, I could see him. I could see him going to a Super Bowl. I could. They just seem strong, man. They just seem strong and strapped down.
There's not one team in the NFC right now that you can say is better than them.
Not no, not at all. Not at all.
Um, I'm definitely not gonna say Washington. That's no disrespect towards them,
No,
but
no, it's
there's
not. It's not. They're having a fantastic season, but
yeah,
again, you could maybe say they're in a similar territory as the Lions last year. Lions had some new coaching staff. They had a little bit of turnover. Washington has some turnover. Washington's a young team. They need some of that experience. It's what the Lions needed, and here we are.
and here was this celebration from Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
Not really sure what this is. Um, but what a picture this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, right now they're definitely the favorite. I would say the favorite to win the whole thing, which I can't believe that those words are coming out of my mouth. If it's not the Ravens, I hope it's the Lions.
I would
You know?
love to see the Lions win the whole thing. Their fans deserve it. That franchise has been so poverty for so long, and the fact that they finally have a head coach that they can commit to, and they have a head coach that can lead, and they have a coaching staff that can develop, and it's a destination where some players want to go.
Yep.
And honestly, I don't really think that there was much of a drop off with Stafford and Goff, to be honest with you, with how Jared Goff has been and the way Matthew Stafford's been. So it would be great to see the Lions be able to actually get there and do the job.
Yeah.
I would be more than happy to see that happen.
Well, on to now. This guy, I mean, Ed and I have said this guy's been a joke for I don't know, probably since he became a head coach. Um, and um, was it this morning? And this morning we saw Dennis Allen get canned.
Yeah, you know who this guy reminds me of, dude? You ever seen the show Frickin' Doug?
Yeah, I have.
Th-
Yeah,
This
you gonna pull this guy up.
this is exactly who Dennis Allen reminds me of.
Let me
Is
see.
is is this guy right here?
Let me see.
Which one is it?
Anticlimactic. I thought I was gonna pull him up right away.
Yeah, is this guy?
Who's this?
Dennis Allen literally reminds me of this guy from his face and his hair. He literally reminds me of freaking Doug, dude.
Yeah, Doug. I don't know if I see the resemblance, but I think I can see the personality wise. Yes.
Yeah, the personality. I don't know. He has the face to me that gives Doug. But see, this was a long time coming. This guy's a horrible coach. I don't know why
Yeah,
the
he's
Saints
awful.
stuck with him. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know why they stuck with him. The Saints go, and you can look back at our videos that we did going into the season. And I said the thing with the Saints is that they are in a place where they have no idea where they're going, and that's their problem. They came into this season with a little bit of an aging defense, and you came in the season again with Derek Carr.
Aging team.
Yeah. And you're coming in the season with an awful coach, and you just don't have any direction of what's going on. And they win their first 2 games of the year, and they score like 40 points both games, and they've lost 7 straight. Derek Carr, granted, missed 3 games or so. Okay. But even with Derek Carr there, maybe they would have had maybe 1, 2, maybe extra wins, but
It
this
wouldn't
was a
matter.
yeah, it wouldn't have mattered. So this was something that needs to happen. The Saints are in a place, man, where looking that they're at 2-7, they're in a place where they need to just restart. They need to hit the restart button. They have Chris Olave there, who I like. They've drafted a couple linemen. Alvin Kamara still has gas, but I think you need to make a decision on your quarterback. You just need to hit the restart. You have some expiring contracts. You have some older guys there on the roster. They're shopping Marshawn Lattimore apparently right now. So it is not a good place right now for the Saints. I think they just need to hit a restart button because Drew Brees retired, and they've gone through Winston, and they've gone through Andy, and they've gone through Rattler and Carr and Hayner, and it's just a mess. It's just a mess.
Yeah, I mean, what really even put the cherry on top of that mess with New Orleans was all these tweets from Michael Thomas yesterday.
Yeah,
Um, him call if you guys can't read that one at the
I didn't
bottom.
even read these.
Um, so
I know he
he
said something
started
about Carr, but
yeah, he started tweeting these after he threw like a pretty poor pass to Chris Olave that ended up getting him knocked out and
yeah,
then transported to the hospital. Um, if you can't read these, dude's scary and panic and just throw the ball, get him the F out of here. So ass. Dude tried to lie and say I was jealous of them making Chris wide receiver one whole time. He can't even get him a decent ball. He need his ass whooped. Great grammar there, Michael.
good great grammar there. I
Um,
mean, don't even let Z and I get into that.
yeah, yeah. And
Comments will be made.
yep. So it really kind of added the cherry on top of this. I mean, it just it's
Why
just
is
it's
Woody Page trending?
I don't know. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, Z, where's Michael Thomas at right now? On the couch.
Yep.
On the couch. On the couch. So nothing he says is irrelevant.
Yep.
He had a very short prime. Slant boy is what everybody loved to call him. Slant boy, didn't want to run any other route. So I saw what Derek Carr said last night about like responding to this, and I think Derek Carr is a great guy, and I do think he's a great teammate, and I think he's had an underrated career. Derek Carr went through a lot of crap with the Raiders. He went through so many different coaches, dude, and he was never supported with a good team. Derek Carr, I think, can still play. He's not a guy that you're going to bring on your team as like, okay, you're going to be our future the next 5 years. He at this point in his career, he's going to play for a team maybe 2-3 years and be a bridge guy. That's what he's going to be. And you need to surround him with a good team, and he can win you some games. But if I'm Derek Carr and if I'm the Saints, I think it would be mutually the right decision for them to both just go their own way.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know who's going to want him. I wouldn't.
Well, and that's a whole nother conversation for another time, probably when we come to the end of the season about quarterback openings and different things like that. Somebody would take him. Now, I don't think that somebody would take him on and just guarantee him a starting job, but I still think he can play. Like we saw what he did the first 2 weeks of the season. Then he got hurt week 4, I think, or week 5. I still think he can play. Like he's not great, but I think he's still average, and like you could win. You can maybe win like some games with him if you have a good team. But he's not at this point. He's 32 years old. He's not going to be, and that's not old for a quarterback. But like at this point in his career, he's not going to be your answer. He's not going to be your future. So if you're a team that needs a bridge guy that can maybe elevate you a little bit, and you have some talent there, maybe. But the Saints need to just completely reset, dude. And honestly, if I'm the Saints, I would trade Chris Olave to the Steelers. That's what I would do.
Chris Olave or DJ Moore come to the Steelers. I'm gonna call it now.
Yeah. I'm
so
okay with either one.
If we miss any topics, you guys let us know in the comment section. I think I kind of want to end this. There were a lot of plays that we're not really going to break down or anything like it's film.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there were so many plays yesterday there were multiple one-handed catches. I think the one that all of us were pretty shell-shocked by was Saquon.
Has time. Now locates Barkley out of the backfield. Barkley slips 2 tackles and picks up the first down.
I don't know how you even think about doing that. Probably one of the craziest plays I've seen all season.
Mm-hmm.
This guy literally hit a reverse hurdle on the Jaguars.
Yeah, he did. I don't think I've seen something like that before.
Think about it. I'm doing that on Mondays. Think about that. I'm doing that tonight. I'm actually literally doing that tonight.
You play defense, so you're the defender.
Yeah. I mean,
well, Devontae Smith's catch was great too.
Yeah, I was going to transition with the Eagles here from this play. We'll look at that one more time. Reverse hurdle. I don't know if we'll ever see that again. I mean, truly.
Yeah, it was great.
Reverse hurdle to Devontae Smith had an insane one-handed catch, which I think nowadays it's like not as cool,
They didn't like that one. 3rd and 22. Hurts looking end zone for Smith and makes the adjustment. Did he get the feet in?
I feel like from the days of like when Odell hit his one-handed catch back in 2014 or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's not impressive. That's not what I'm sitting here saying. But it's almost kind of like how kickers hit like 55-yarders like it's nothing nowadays. These are like unbelievable athletes. And the fact that us fans are privileged to watch this, I mean, we should just appreciate it, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Saquon's having a great bounce back season. He's just somebody who's always been paper. So it's good to see him fitting in well with the Eagles. The Eagles have a whole nother element with him. So I don't know. They almost blew it there.
Yeah, they did. And then also
Sirianni was wanting to go for 2 like every single time.
A joke.
Yeah.
And then you talk about another one-handed catch, Matthew Stafford with an absolutely beautiful throw.
Stafford.
Pretty cool to win the game too. Yeah.
for a touchdown by Robinson. The Ravens.
Another team that, and Geno Smith is a joke. His era is done. I'm sorry. It's pick city.
Z, is there anything you want to say to that guy that commented on our video 3 months ago about Geno?
Well, if you're watching this is exactly what I meant by Seattle. I never said Seattle was going to be non-competitive. I never said that.
Yeah.
But what I did say is not afraid of this team. This team, and I'm pretty sure I had them below the Cardinals.
You did.
I did.
The NFC West is tight as it's going to get.
Yeah, so shout out Cardinals, first place NFC West. Beautiful throw by Stafford. Overtime. And a lot of plays during that game. You had you had Geno throwing picks in the end zone.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah, just awful. And I think probably my favorite play of the whole day has got to be Drake May. Drake May from the Tennessee game.
Yeah.
This had a sprinkle of a little bit of a luck. You see he gets drilled by like 3 guys. And he just kind of like heaves it.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, and I mean it was a phenomenal play.
It definitely was. It definitely was. He's been doing some good things so far with the Patriots. It's still going to be a little bit till they're where they want to be, but I think he's shown definitely some flash so far throughout his rookie season. So if you're the Patriots fan, I'd feel pretty confident in him.
Imagine starting Jacoby Brissett over that guy. God, Gerard. I got to give Gerard 2 years.
Sometimes I just won't understand that.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed our week 9 recap. I mean, I kind of like doing that where we showed a few highlight plays from the week. We went over the headlines on the week.
Yeah.
If you guys enjoyed that, let us know.
Yeah.
We're very, very close to 100 subscribers. So
yeah. So thank you to our new subscribers. Thank you to you guys who do take the time to watch our videos and our content. Hopefully you get good entertainment out of it, and hopefully you get some laughs out of it as well. But Z and I will be back too. We're going to be talking a little about some Call of Duty.
Black Ops 6 Sweat City. Sweat City. There's,
I think, quite a things I want to say as well. I've expressed that very briefly on Twitter so far. But we're going to talk about that, just kind of give our quick early thoughts on it. So if you're part of the COD community on here or anything like that, you might enjoy that. We're going to try to try to continue to put content up of NCAA or maybe even possibly Madden on this channel, maybe a little bit of Call of Duty on from Z Stream on this channel.
We'll pull some up on our next video.
Yeah, so we're going to keep aiming for that. I mean, we really kind of have even a lot of next year to even add that to. But yeah, overall, guys, we thank you all so much for your support, and we're going to continue NFL content throughout the rest of the season as well. So that's kind of what to expect.
Yep. So we'll see you guys for episode 66. Talking about Black Ops 6.
Yep.
If you guys are gamers, if you're not, tune in because there'll be a whole lot of complaining.
Yeah, there will be.
We appreciate you guys, and we will see you guys on the next one.